Welcome into this segment of Behind the Pen presented by MostValuablePodcast.com. If you want to listen to the full podcast, go to blogtalkradio.com/MostValuablePodcast. Also, we're on iTunes, so check us out there as well. Thank you all for listening as always, and enjoy the show. So anyway, moving on. Now, I mentioned about the certain situations now, specifically on a defensive end, I think we're looking at, because offensively, it's still a work in progress. Guys pretty much solidified in their position. The offensive line's pretty much set. The offense, the running back's set. Wide receiver core, they're just a bunch of guys, and they're going to be out there. Defensively, there is a lot there. And I'm going to throw it out to you first, Dave.
Sure.
Who is going to step up, or who needs to step up? We already mentioned Kevin White. You can throw that in there if you want to. But who needs to step up this offseason for the Chicago Bears?
Honestly, the easiest one is a guy who took the majority of last season off, and that's Fuller. Like, honestly,
he took all of last season off.
All of it. It was what should have been a standard 3 months out for a knee scope, and it turned into, I don't feel like coming back. And honestly, it kind of gives you a little pause for concern. It's like,
exactly.
Yeah, your team's not doing great, but unless there's something that he's not saying happened with the complications around that, then there's no excuse why you should have missed an entire season for a procedure that simple.
I think Kyle Fuller is my guy too. He's the first name that jumps out to me.
Well, that's the secondary is our biggest weak point as the Bears defense goes. So having someone who we saw glimpses of high level production, someone who we could hope to be our number one corner and who we bet on being our number one corner, just no-show an entire season for what shouldn't have been a season-ending injury.
First-round draft pick, I believe 10 or 11 he was picked, or 12. It was something pretty high in that draft, and my goodness, he, in his rookie season, did well, right? We were excited about, I know I was, about Kyle Fuller, and then he disappeared.
I think it was like 4 picks and 3 fumbles. I mean, he really was all over the place, and that's what gave us the confidence to move forward. But if he's not going to be on the field, and if he's now possibly, rubbing people the wrong way and not showing the effort he should,
might get cut. Because there's a lot of guys right now on this roster that I'm looking at that could fill that role quite easily. Now, DeAndre Hall, a guy who saw some time last season, he was a 4th-round draft pick of Ryan Pace. I'm sure they're going to run with him for a while. Deion Bush was a healthy scratch for so many years. I'm excited for him. I mean, I want to see something from him, because when they drafted him, if you're going to put this much stock, because they took 3 defensive players there in the 4th round, and boy, last year, Kwiatkowski's a backup. DeAndre Hall could become something, and Deion Bush was nothing last season. They signed Prince Amukamara. They picked up Marcus Cooper. So
we at least have guys who can cover at the NFL level.
Right, there's competition there.
Yep.
And there's depth there. And I talked about it last week on Behind the Pen. Thank you guys for listening. As always, love the feedback. They have depth, and that's what the Bears haven't had in years, especially in the secondary.
To start the season, at least.
Right.
Now we have it.
So we're looking at their secondary, and also speaking of guys that need to step up, but Quentin Demps and Adrian Amos are assumedly, is that a word? We're going to assume that those 2 players are the guys back there in the safety spot. That's another position the Bears haven't filled really since Mike Brown.
No.
David Archuleta?
No.
Right? Or Adam Archuleta?
Adam Archuleta from Washington.
David Archuleta.
No, we're moving on.
So a lot of bad in the history of that. But, that secondary is something of concern for me, Dave.
No, I think there's no... They haven't given us a reason yet to not worry about it, and that's the problem. We saw a lot of guys step up last year due to injuries and due to lack of other options out there. Cre'Von LeBlanc. I mean, he was an interesting player, and the thing that kills me is, like, you can tell these younger draft picks, these free agents come in, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. They're going, balls to the walls, trying to make the spot in this roster, but you just see it in some of them, like, yeah, you're not gonna. You're a nickel at best,
right? Because
of your speed, your ability to cover the whole field. But you're not our, you're not our slot corner. You're not our outside man to go 1-on-1.
Yeah, and I don't think the Bears have a. Well, Tracy Porter was pretty good at covering his man.
Tracy Porter was interesting because, he could go 1-on-1 with you for a little bit. He had some physicality to him.
He didn't have the speed. He couldn't cover deep.
Yes, exactly. And when it came to tackling, he'd more often than not try to go for a forced fumble rather than go for a surefire tackle or do something in between the two.
Right.
So, I mean...
But he was a nice safety cushion. He's gone now, so, I mean, we appreciate Tracy Porter's contribution.
Everything we got
He was a pretty solid cornerback over the last 2 seasons with the Bears, especially in his first year, so credit him. There's a lot of competition in the secondary, and you mentioned it, Dave. You mentioned it. the Vic Fangio style of defense kind of requires, and he values. Really, all of these players go back to how Vic Fangio values their efforts, I guess, in what they bring to the table, right? Because you talk about all the nickel packages that the Bears run. They don't really send guys on the blitz.
No.
They like to play underneath, and they like to play conservative style of defense. Exactly. And we saw Sherrick McManus. Hey, oh boy, bad, not good. He cannot play in the secondary. He's a great special teams guy, but he was involved because he could sort of play the nickel. We had Bryce Callahan step up. He's turning into a nice cover corner. Cravon LeBlanc's another guy. So there are a lot of different variables.
Lots of names, system. But we don't have anybody pinned down yet. And we got time.
It goes back to this draft. We were like, okay, well, Jamal Adams, Malik Hooker. We have guys.
I would have been thrilled.
Thomas. We have guys there, guaranteed studs, and they go for Trubisky. So hey, jury's out on Ryan
Chips
Pace.
are in. But no, I think the other thing you brought up, due to the conservative scheme for this defense, someone who we kind of expected to see, I think a lot of us expected to see a little bit more out of Leonard Floyd this past year. And I still think he's going to be a very good player. I think what I saw out of him was enough. He had like one really great stand-up performance, a couple good games mixed in, but again, injury and time off the field. But
he was paralyzed. My goodness,
Jesus,
yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Against New York, yeah.
But no, I think that honestly, like I could see him stepping up, and I know that they don't draw up a ton of blitz packages, but I think that if they start working him into those heavy blitz situations, I think he's proven himself enough in that first year that he could be our go-to guy moving forward.
I am excited about Leonard Floyd, and I'm excited about this front seven. They are starting to build something serious. Hopefully Danny Trevathan can get back healthy. Pernell McPhee hopefully can come back and have a full season where he's healthy. That guy's a beast. So we don't really have to, well, we broke down the Bears a lot, so we don't want to continue going into it because there's much more offseason left. And here on Behind the Pen, I'm going to talk Chicago Bears football the rest of the way. So we're going to end the conversation right there. Loved all of it, especially really the quarterback conversation, because I can always go for the Trubisky. So let me know what you think down below. Send us some feedback here on mostvaluablepodcast.com. We appreciate you listening. Stay tuned if you're on YouTube. Go check out our next segment. It's going to be Chicago Bulls. Thank you guys for sticking around for this segment of Behind the Pen. If you want more Most Valuable Podcast content, click on the video up above, because I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep listening to our voices every day. But again, guys, thank you all for listening. We really do appreciate you.